All right, let's dive into the computer's brain. We're going to break down what a CPU actually does, step by simple step. So, you click a button on your mouse. What happens inside the computer right after that? Well, it's not magic, it's a process, and we're going to walk through it together.
Okay, first up, the computer's brain. We're talking about the central processing unit.
So, what exactly is a CPU? Think of it as the brain of your computer. Its entire job is to follow instructions, to do calculations, and manage all the data.
Next section, your first command. Let's see how a simple click becomes an instruction.
Yep, it's that simple. Every time you click your mouse or press a key, your computer turns that action into an instruction, and that instruction gets sent straight to the CPU.
Now let's talk about the CPU's four-step cycle. This is basically the rhythm that every computer runs on. This whole process breaks down into four main steps. It's called the fetch, decode, execute, store cycle. Let's look at what each one of those means.
First, there's fetch. This is where the CPU it fetches. It goes into the computer's memory, which is called RAM, and grabs the next instruction on its list.
Okay, step 2 is decode. Now that the CPU has the instruction, it needs to figure out what it actually means. It's like translating a command to understand what it's supposed to do. Third, we have execute. This is the part where the CPU actually does the work. It performs the task it was given, like doing a calculation or something similar. And last, the store step. After the CPU has done its job, it needs to put the result somewhere, so it saves, or stores, the result back into the computer's memory. So, who does all this work? Let's meet the internal team, the main workers inside the CPU. Basically, there are 3 main parts inside the CPU that handle these 4 steps we just talked about.
Let's break down this little team. First, you've got the control unit, or CU. Think of it as the manager. It directs all the traffic. Then there's the ALU, which stands for Arithmetic Logic Unit. This is the calculator. It does all the math and logic. And finally, you have registers. These are like a tiny notepad, holding on to the data that the CPU needs to use right away.
All right, so how do we see the final result? Let's look at how a calculation makes it all the way to your screen.
Well, that result that the CPU stored, it gets sent to whatever device needs it. That could be your screen, your speakers, or even a printer. That's how you get to see or hear the outcome of its work.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. Imagine the CPU is a chef. The control unit is the part of the chef that's reading the recipe and telling everyone what to do. The ALU is the chef's hands, doing all the chopping and cooking. And the registers? They're like the cutting board, holding just the ingredients you need right at that moment.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Here's the CPU in a nutshell, your key takeaways. So, to sum it all up, the CPU is the brain, and it processes every single instruction. It does this using a constant 4-step cycle: fetch, decode, execute, and store. Its 3 key parts are the control unit, the manager, the ALU, the calculator, and the registers, the notepad. And this entire cycle happens incredibly fast, billions of times every second, making your computer work.
So now you know how one single instruction gets handled. But that brings up a pretty cool question, right? How does the CPU manage millions of them all at once? That's something to think about for next time.